So from a macro perspective, what policy initiatives can set the tone for building on the current mood and delivering even higher and better growth going ahead?
So first thing first, Siddharth, I must say that India has been very, very resilient all across 2025. Bunch of reforms which came through last year. I think some path-breaking reforms, right? We talk about the 3Ls, land, labor, litigation. At least the labor issue got sorted, right? And I think this is something which is a journey. And at times when you are pushed to the brinks, almost, I think you act better and faster. Clearly, India has shown the path, and India is going to be the highest growing economy this year as well. So clearly, the resilience that India has shown. You talk about our export basket. I mean, we're looking at different countries and different regions to export our products to, including the ones which are very, very labor intensive, which is where the biggest employment challenge has been. So I think we have responded to the disruptions that have come through us very, very well. I do believe that India's macro are in pretty good stead at this point in time, and I think there is enough fiscal space for the government to be able to do what it wishes to do. I can see some green shoots of private investments already to supplement the public investments, which have been in a pretty robust way in the last few years. I think a lot in the budget is really going to be where does the government expend the money, because a bunch of reforms have already happened. The GST rationalization has happened. Of course, there are some inverted duty structures owed to the FTAs, both on the customs side and the GST, which possibly need correction. But largely to me on the budget, it is really where you want to spend the money going forward. And I think there are two areas, or maybe three areas where the government, I would like to believe, should focus. One is how do we enhance productivity across our services as well as our industrial segments, manufacturing segment. Second is how do we make sure that our competitive advantage, which is our services, we are able to invest in skilling our people so that we continue to be at the cutting edge. And finally, I think for far too long, scale has been an issue. I think we need to acknowledge that scale gets you the competitive advantage and gets you the factor cost that you need to be competitive in this world.
Okay. Is there scope for significant customs reforms? Because if the personal side, the indirect side, direct, indirect, both are done, should that be one of the key focus areas, broadly speaking?
I think there are certain areas on the custom side which certainly could be looked at. I think the biggest ones, I mean, the government has to be mindful of, the FTAs that it has signed and the ones that it is about to sign. The EU one is about to be signed in particular, that we know. When the FTAs get signed, there are some aberrations that come up. Some inverted duty structures have arisen already. We know about that. And I think those would need to be sorted. I think the other thing when we talk about this is, from an FTA standpoint, and particularly when you talk about customs and rationalization, is how do we make sure that there is enough enablement that we are able to leverage the FTAs? Because if we don't leverage the FTAs, and India's FTA utilization rate or leverage rate is about 25%, where for most countries it is 70 to 80%, then you start blaming that, okay, there must be some problems with the structure that we have got. Yes, there are aberrations to be solved, but I think it's more about making sure that we are able to leverage the FTAs better, and that will be a panacea.